Tony, what's wrong? What's
got,
eating at you?
He's got no Russian.
Is there something that might be grinding your gears right now?
Yeah.
Is that
A little grind.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You don't have to divorce her, okay? It was a joke.
Well,
It grinds my gears when I feel backed into a corner for something I didn't even do.
Grinds my gears when my friends are married to clearly a Russian.
Bye.
Russian spy.
I don't want to hear it, mutt.
That's true.
he's got
A
a
little
point.
bit of everything.
He's got a point. And welcome back to Five's a Crowd.
Hello.
We are going to have a fun night tonight. If you haven't guessed by our theme already, we're going to do a little grinds our gears type night.
We're going to vent.
We are. We're going to vent some
ranting?
things. We're
We're
going to rant.
pissed off.
We're going to talk about some stuff that we just can't take anymore.
Okay. I wish I had a cane for all of us to shake whenever he makes an argument.
Hooligans! You really grind my gears.
Get off my lawn.
Someone get some gears in here so we can grind them. You got a pepper shaker?
The kid toy where you just spin it with the gears on it.
Yeah.
Before I start it out, though, I'll introduce the fellas for tonight. For every night, we got Cam, Chris, Austin,
Hey.
Tony,
Hello?
and yours truly, Zach.
The least of which is Ginger.
Tuning in, you might be confused. You're like, he's
What do
got
they
a lot of
mean?
red hair.
Yeah.
But if you listen to a previous episode, we find out that Zach is not all he's cracked up to be.
English. All right. Isn't there a lot of redheads in England?
They're not. It's not their claim to fame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's other
Most
atrocities.
people relate a redhead. Oh, I missed it. Dang it.
Ow.
It's all right.
Where my British people at?
He's a little bit English too.
Right here.
Yeah,
Your
that's
British
all right.
people
You
are right
can't.
here.
You can't get mad at us because I'm partially English.
You know,
I can make fun of the English.
We're going to kick you out.
Well, never expect to set foot in Scotland again, or Ireland,
Hey,
or
I can make that call.
Welshland.
I can make that call.
Okay, fine. I leave it to King Ginger to decide what to do with you.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
You definitely have to tune in
Yes.
to our genealogy
Yes.
episode.
You're
Figure out what's going on.
About this close to giving Chris an X.
What'd I do?
You're the enforcer, right?
Oh, an axe? I thought you
Axe,
said
yeah.
X.
I thought I heard X too.
Oh no, axe, a weapon.
My wife loves me.
So start us off, Zach.
Let's go.
I'll start you off with something simple. You're going to notice a lot of mine are traffic issues.
Right?
Driving
that's right.
issues.
You're a hothead.
I am a
behind the wheel.
hothead when it comes to driving.
That's
Now,
why
out of curiosity, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why Jenny will not ride in the car with him
It
when he's
is
driving.
very true.
For
She
real.
hates.
For
When
real.
we go on
She's-
trips and stuff, like she absolutely hates driving in the car with me.
She has to like
You too? Does it grind your gears?
I don't know. I'd give it a try. I'm just thinking here. There's a pattern. Is it everybody around you, or is it you that's the problem?
It's everybody around me.
Okay.
Because I don't ever have a problem driving.
Right.
everybody's driving the wrong way on the freeway.
Sorry.
Now,
Austin, you were going to say something.
is it just because you have red hair that you're like, I can be a hothead?
I
Does
don't
it
know.
get to
Never
your head?
thought of that. Maybe.
Is it just because
Maybe.
you're playing
What's
into your
your-
cards? You're like, I'm Irish. I'm just pissed off. But now
Well,
you're
guess
not.
what?
But I'm not. I'm English. So
Whenever someone flips me off on the road, I'm going to ask them, what color's your hair? I'm a redhead. Okay.
But are you a real redhead?
That explains a lot.
So what specifically?
no, the biggest one lately that I've noticed, and I think I mentioned it when we were talking about doing
the
this
chat.
episode in the chat, was when you got someone driving in front of you and it's a single lane, and there's plenty enough room for them to get over when they're taking a right-hand turn. They have plenty of room to get over to take that right-hand turn so that traffic can continuously go, but they choose to turn right inside the lane, forcing everybody behind them to come to a complete stop.
Yeah.
irritates everything out of me. I cannot
100% agree.
stand it.
You know what's funny though is you hate it so much, but you chose that as a profession.
Driving.
It's actually funny. When I am in my Red Bull truck, I'm like a whole different person.
Really?
On the
Yes.
job. Someone's paying you.
Yes, I have had a few episodes in my truck. I will not lie, but
few
I'm
Red
actually
Bull
a
cans.
more calm driver in my truck than anything else.
Really? Huh.
Okay, when you're out of your Red Bull truck, does having your family in the car change anything?
Oh no!
So you're the same driving by yourself or with your family, or
Yes,
it doesn't
in
matter
fact,
who's in the
You can
car.
ask Kara; she has yelled at me many of times.
I agree. Like if you're turning, you need to move as far over to the
Yes.
direction you're turning as possible.
Like, try to be courteous.
yes.
Yes,
I feel like it's the same with left turns when they signal and they start to put on their brakes before actually merging into the median to make the left-hand turn
Yep.
lane.
I'll be a dick sometimes, though. If some guy's following on my butt the entire time, I'm going the speed limit, I will slow down to turn. I will.
That's different. True.
I've done that before.
But that's Zach. That's what we're getting at is people do it to him because he's riding their tail.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, no. I
don't do that.
hate it when people ride my butt, so I try to actually stay far
Oh, that's
behind.
good.
Yeah.
Because I can't stand it when people do it to me. So
You
I
keep a
try
whole car length, huh?
I do. I try to stay a little bit back.
Yeah, I don't do that. It's like half a car.
Unless they're going under the speed limit, then I will ride their butt.
How much under the speed limit?
5 under.
Any.
5 under?
Yeah.
If you're going the speed limit, I won't catch
That's-
up to you because I'm also going the speed limit.
The
That's-
limit's a suggestion. You can go under the speed limit.
No.
I saw this
Nope, you
meme
have
and it
to
was
go
like
it or more.
to all of you try I think it said something like to all of you on the freeway driving in the fast lane going only 10 over, move over. There are people out here trying to break the law for real.
That's true, though. That's true.
You know, it's funny about the freeway. I did hear a thing that said if everybody were to drive the suggested speed limit, so what out here is
70.
typically about 70. If everybody were just to drive 70, there would be no issues on the freeway.
I've heard
yeah.
that before too.
No backups,
that's-
no nothing. Everybody, it would just be straight flow of traffic. You'd
That's
get
why
there
I'm in
faster.
favor of like Teslas and stuff. Because if you think every single car, if it's controlled, there's no limit to how fast you could go on the freeway. Because if everything is spaced out accordingly and they're all moving, you could go hundreds of miles an hour. But it's the human element.
It is.
That,
It's the issues that you have people going
lightly
10
taps
under.
their brakes that sends a ripple through time and space for like the next week.
Okay, iRobot.
Dude,
Well,
that's so real.
That's
there.
exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
It is though. I mean, because then you've got the people in the fast lane who someone decides. Here's another thing that grinds my gears.
Is when you don't push the clutch in all the way.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Every time.
No, when you're on the freeway, you're in the middle lane. You got a car there. So I'm in the fast lane. So you got a car in the middle lane. They're coming up on a car that's going a little bit slower than they are. Okay, so they got two options. They can either go into the left lane and pass them, but I'm going faster than them, so they're going to cause me to slow down. Or there's nobody in the right lane either, so they could just go into the right lane and pass them, allowing me to keep my continuous speed and go. What do they choose to do? They go in the left lane, force me to slow down, and cause this ripple of motion when they could just go into the right lane.
You're supposed to pass on the left side.
I
though.
don't care. The right lane's wide open.
It's not your
You're
highway.
going slow.
Oh, did I pass on the right?
I
But
pass
you're
on
not.
the right too.
So I do too. Okay, I do.
All right. Okay.
I know.
Procedure is you're supposed to pass on the left.
Yeah.
So
Unless
in
you're
that-
going to impede traffic, though.
in
wanna
that
go hear what he has to
argument,
say.
so if you're not gonna like break the law and pass on the right, if I check or I do my best if I can see, I check to see if not only if someone's in my blind spot, but to see if someone's coming up on me, and if I can clearly tell they're coming up pretty quick, I'll wait for them to pass.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that sense, it's like if I'm in the middle lane and I'm coming up on somebody, but I can see in the left lane someone's coming up even faster, then I'll slow down for that half a second, let the person pass, and then I'll get in the left
Right.
lane and pass.
That's how I do it.
Or you punch it, and then just pass as fast
Shoot
as
the
you
gap.
can. You know what I mean? Like
So you're not
Honestly-
impeding on them, but
Yeah.
you're still shooting.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're,
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Well, see, I prefer to slow down, let the person in the left lane pass, and then get behind them because now they're my pace car.
Yeah.
That is true. I've
And
done
now
that a
I'll
lot
go
of
as
times.
fast as they're going.
You chase the bunny.
I love pace
So
cars.
on-
You got
on that
someone
note-
going like 90 miles an hour. I'll go like 3 miles under what they're doing, and I will just follow.
You're like,
Yeah.
salute to you, sir. You're taking one for the team.
Yep, exactly.
But see, here's the other thing that makes me mad, grinds my gears, is when, let's say you're in the left lane and you're going, 10 over or whatever, and someone comes up on you, like right up on your butt, and
Yep.
they're getting annoying, and you can tell they're impatient, and you finally get to a place where you let them pass. Or they get frustrated and like go around all
Yeah,
the
let's
way.
say
and
you
stuff.
can't get
But
over
then
at
they
the
get
time
in
being.
front of you
and
and they slow down.
Right.
And it's like, what's the point? Why
Yep.
are you here?
Because they're
And then you
mad.
end up passing them again.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Yep.
That's
I don't care if you pass me and go. Like, there's no reason to come up on me to get in front of me to go slower than I was already going.
I should never have to see you again.
Yes, exactly. You should be gone.
Especially if you're going to get so mad to the point where a lot of times I've seen cars who come up on me. I can't get over because there's just not that room, but they can. So they'll shoot over 3 lanes,
Yep.
go over,
Yeah.
come back over, get in front of me, and next thing you know, I'm right in their butt again. And I'm like,
exactly.
wait a minute.
You're like, how'd this happen?
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite situations with that was when we drove down to, I think it was when we were on our way to Zion's, and me and you were riding together, Cam.
Huh?
And Cam just set his cruise control.
Love it.
Like, I want to say it was around 80, set his cruise control and just let it be. And I want to say for a good several miles, there was this one car that he was like, he would pass us on the right, whoa, fly by us like a bat out of hell. And then all of a sudden, give it a few minutes, all of a sudden we're passing him.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, whoa, he would fly past us again and back and forth. And Cam was just keeping a solid, steady pace.
I have seen that so many times.
I do it all the time. Like, I love cruise control.
Oh,
if I
I-
can rest my foot and chill while we're driving, I'm all for it.
9 over
Watch
is what
a
I could-
movie.
what I
And
say
I
to
watch
that.
so many people do that. Like they stress themselves out, chasing and like dodging, and then they'll pass us and I'll pass them like 10 times. They get nowhere from all the stress.
Yeah.
With the driving thing too, when traffic's getting heavier, those guys who sit and curve through trying to get ahead of the traffic, they're the ones who slow the whole traffic down.
That's it. Because now you're making everybody
Right.
pump their brakes because you got them nervous.
Those guys drive me nuts. And gals.
Here's the other thing
Let's be
too.
fair.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't be as bugged by them as I am if they use their blinker. Even if you're dodging in and out, but you're signaling where you're going,
Right?
I'd be okay. It's the ones that like they pass, but they don't even get into the lane all the way. They're like skirting the lane and like
Coming here today, I saw a motorcycle like that.
Yeah.
I'm driving. I had my cruise control set at 79. This motorcycle just flew right past me.
It's all
The
those
next thing you know,
Californians coming here.
I saw
Used
him.
to that law in California.
Dude, he was going through in and out of traffic, just no blinker, no nothing, and he was just weaving out of the cars.
But-
and I'm like, holy crap!
But to me, it's just like they're trying to hurry to wait first. It's like,
No,
what
exactly.
are you doing? Like, you want to wait first?
Hurry
That's
up-
cool.
hurry
Go
up
ahead.
only to wait.
You can wait 1st. You can
So-
wait up there a little bit. I'll be back here waiting.
it's so true.
Right? You know what I mean? So dumb.
A couple things. You saying the motorcycle thing, I have to say, I respect, like when it's motorcycle season, I respect everybody say, keep an eye out for the motorcyclists because they're harder to see. And I respect that. I get that. But at the same time, you have douchebags like that.
there are a lot of dickhead
who
motorcyclists
now
out
they
there.
get hit because they're being an idiot on a motorcycle, but it's like, oh, you look, another motorcyclist hit because people aren't paying attention. It's like, no, that's not how it always
I have
works.
zero respect for those motorcyclists.
But that,
The respectable
and
ones. I
keep
do.
in mind, there are a lot of people at this table that ride motorcycles.
Yes.
Right.
They're not
Exactly.
just saying that all motorcylists are dicks.
I rode
Oh
motorcycles.
no, there's definitely specific ones.
The ones who
Bicyclists.
expect, they want to.
We can all collectively agree bicyclists suck.
Grinds my gears.
You guys should be registering your bikes if you want to take up the whole damn road.
But you should be paying for freaking registration every year.
Yeah.
I heard a Tosh
Safety.
0.0 one time, or I heard Daniel Tosh say one time, he's like, as a vehicleist, you hate pedestrians. As a pedestrian, you hate vehicleists, but we can all agree, whatever you're in, we all hate bicyclists.
Oh my gosh, I hate them.
No, I was going to say on the blinker thing, just the other day, I was coming up, 30th, I think. And it's the 2 lanes and it kind of does a little S shape. Well, we're kind of making a right turn following the 2 lanes. And the guy on my left, I'm in the right lane. The guy in my left kind of hugs the line a little bit. No big deal. And then all of a sudden he like shoots left, almost hitting the like side wall. And I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, that guy's like, I don't know what he's doing. Well, then all of a sudden he gets behind me, and in my rear view, I see the driver and passenger flipping me off. And I was just like, what did I do? I really had no idea what I did. But apparently when he hugged the lane, I guess he was trying to get over, but there was no blinkers signifying anything.
Yeah, no
and
idea.
I'm already like basically side by side with him. So even if he wanted to get over, I'm already there.
Dude.
And
The
I was just like, oh my gosh.
It's a Scooby-Doo mystery. What's going on?
Right?
Dude, I like similar thing, and another huge thing that grinds my gears when it comes to driving is when you're in like a double lane that turns
Right.
and you turn and almost immediately the inside lane's trying to get into your lane.
Yep.
Right.
Pisses me
Or
off.
both ways.
Oh, I
Either
go-
way.
I
Or
know
the
what
other
you
way.
mean.
Exactly. You know darn well that you're going to be doing a specific turn when you turn that corner, get in the right lane beforehand.
Yep.
And I know the excuse is, well, they're not from here. They don't know. GPS now tells you which lane to be in
Yeah.
because of what turn you're going to take
Stay
after.
in right lane.
Yeah, be in the second left lane to turn left.
So I had same thing. I take this turn to like get to work all the time, and this like minivan is right next to me, and we both turn, and she doesn't even wait till we're turned straight. She turns into my lane, cuts me off in the middle of the turn, and I almost hit a cop car.
Jeez.
I just saw.
And I'm like, I hate
hate that.
so mad.
I just saw a
And she like
squirrel.
honks at me, and I'm like, what are you honking at me for?
I want a GPS that has Zach's voice. Turn right, bunch of dicks.
On this note, I hope all of you have dash cams.
I need
Dash
one.
cams
I
are
don't.
I've been
I
looking to
need
buy
one.
one.
Dude, they are so cheap.
I need
So
one.
cheap. And they could save you so much money.
Right. I
Well,
do. I
that's-
need one.
We
It's just more for evidence, right? If something
Oh,
happens.
yeah, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love the videos where you see someone clearly do something wrong and then they get out of the car and they're all pissed off and like the text on the screen pops up. They didn't know I had a dash cam. And so
love
they just
those.
let them like feed this fire and then the cops show up and then they just hand them the
dash cam.
dash
I need to
cam
get
and they're
one.
like, oh.
Genius.
Yeah.
See, that was
Yes. Any dash cam companies want to sponsor us?
I mean, we were in an accident together.
Yeah. A
This
dash
tr-
cam would have been perfect in that situation.
This old truck, we were over here turning left to go to the basically the mall. And we were in, it was late at night, arrow turns green, and all of a sudden this old truck in front of us backs right up into my car. And I'm like, what the heck? And the craziest part about it was he didn't have any reverse lights. And so when he backed up into me, I didn't know that he was backing up. I thought in my mind, I was like, did I press on the gas? I don't
it's
remember.
that weird thing where you look at a
Yeah.
semi and it moves out of the parking lot. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. I had that moment where I was like, did I press on the gas? My foot was on the brake. I know it was because when it was just, it played a trick on me. So then we pull over into the bank parking lot. The cops get called. And I'm like, I promised you I did not ram into him. Like have him put his truck in reverse. He has no reverse lights. That's how I know. And so sure enough, the cops aren't taking my word. I'm some dumb 18-year-old or whatever. And the, citations all get written. And then this old guy in a truck gets in his truck, puts it in reverse, no reverse lights, backs out. I'm like, see, like he's got no reverse lights. And the cop did nothing. He was just like, he gave him like a
douche.
fix-it ticket. And meanwhile, I got a ruined front end.
So I remember that.
That's what
was-
grinds my gears. People not taking
Ownership.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a big
responsibility for their
Hey,
actions.
Own up to
I
your
see.
my company
crap, dude.
thrives on that. My company.
Dude, I have a buddy who knows you. A random fact.
Oh,
See,
that was
we'll talk about that.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say, working in customer service, people who don't take ownership drives me absolutely crazy. Coming in, screaming, hooting, and hollering about something they did, but they just have to point blame elsewhere. Drives me nuts.
The best learning lesson is when I do that, and then somebody's like, this, and this, and like prove me wrong. I'm like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Dang
and then
it,
you
you're
take ownership.
right. Yeah.
That's when you're like, okay.
See, but at
maybe I
least
should be
then
careful.
you admit fault and come down and like say, "Oh,
like-
okay, I
and
was
then you
wrong."
learn.
But there's some people who
Don't.
They don't.
They just keep justifying. Yeah.
Oh, it
Oh,
drives
dude, I
me.
see it every single
Yeah.
day. Like,
Hate it.
Anytime anyone shows up late to an appointment, I'm like, what do you mean it was canceled? It's like, you knew what time it was. You came in and said you had an appointment 30 minutes ago. It's 30 minutes after that. But you just said the thing that you're mad about with me. What?
So with me, I don't know how long a job's going to take me for sure. So I'll give them like an hour window, right? 1 hour window. I'm like, way to show up at the last minute. I gave you an hour window when I show up. That's why
I'm within the window.
I'm within the
I'm
window.
within the window. And that's pretty good because sometimes you get locked on a job forever. And then I have to come back to that job if I'm going to be out of that window.
See, with that ownership stuff or whatever, that was me when when we first got married, with like in the first 5 years of our marriage, I got in this big accident. My neighbor coming around the corner and my neighbor's backing out of his driveway. There's a truck there in the way. So I couldn't see him backing out. He couldn't see me coming, but he comes out with his truck and his, the little ball thing or whatever, the hitch.
Yeah.
Ends up hitting my car on the passenger side, starts at the very front, drags all the way back, and then went into my wheel well on the back. Ended up popping my tire, ripped my rim.
Holy dang.
My car had to be towed. Like, it was
Jeez.
bad.
Those things are dangerous, man.
And of course, did no damage to him, but ruined my car. And cops show up or whatever. His neighbor comes running out and he goes, "Oh yeah, this guy over here come ripping around that corner like a bat out of hell." And I looked at the cop and I said, "How is that possible when the corner's like 10 feet around? Like, I can't go that fast. This is it's a Dodge Caliber, for heck's sakes." But
You have to shake to get the
right? And so anyways, the cop writes up his report. He looks at it, he goes, "Yeah, man, this is your fault. I could clearly tell you came out." He goes, "You couldn't see him because of this truck, but still you need to be cautious. You know, it's blatantly your fault."
Like, you said it's your fault?
No, the cop said it was my neighbor's fault.
Okay. Yeah.
So insurance gets involved. His insurance calls me. I give him the story, everything. They get the police report, all that stuff. Well, the insurance company finds me at fault because I don't know why. Because
they don't wanna pay for it.
they claim that he was already in the road, and so he had right of traffic before I did.
You didn't get a citation.
No, he got the citation.
Exactly.
And that's what I tried to tell the insurance company. So this guy fed them a whole big old load of story. His insurance company didn't want to pay for it, so they believed him.
Of course.
So I threatened to sue the insurance company, and they said, "Great, we'll see you in court." So in the meantime, this is the best part. This guy takes because he gets ticketed. He takes it to court to try to fight the ticket. Tells the judge what happened. The judge looks at the police officer and gets all the stories right. And the judge looks at this guy and starts laughing. And he's like, "What? You're feeding me a bunch of bull, man. I'm like, this is not true. Ticket stays. You're paying the fine." So with my dad being a police officer, we're trying to fight this whole thing with the insurance. They won't listen to the police officer. They just said, "That's a third party thing. We don't necessarily have to listen to the police report." So we're fighting this whole thing. My dad calls the police officer. He says, "Oh yeah, this guy took it to court, yada, yada." And my dad's like, "Oh great." So he gets the court documents, gets all this stuff. We send it to his insurance and say, "We're going to give you one last chance to reverse this. This is the court documents. This is what the judge said. This is what the judge found at fault. Your guy is leading you a bunch of bull." Insurance company calls him up the next day and says, "Yeah, we find him at fault. We apologize. We're going to go ahead and take care of this."
How soon would you like that check?
In the meantime, this guy never took fault at all for what had happened. But
I hate it.
yeah,
I hate it so much.
this and all of this was over like 4 months. I had to pay for my insurance I had to pay my deductible, of course. So, I mean, that cost me like $500, but I got it reimbursed. But still, yeah.
That's where you're kind of. Sorry. I was just gonna. You're kind of the
Cursed.
epitome of like in the wrong place at the wrong time.
all the time.
Because like that,
Just life in
the
general.
whole dog incident,
Right.
Friggin' just you and insurance, period. Like,
Yeah.
just not friends.
No,
They try to do what they
is
can to get
true.
away with it though.
they usually win when it comes to me.
Maybe it's what is it? They're gingerists.
Except for they're false now.
Look at this redhead. Oh, we're gonna take him for what he's worth.
It's those rosy cheeks. They say
It's
that you're
like-
so nice.
Something
They're
It's like, you know how they say
Something.
stereotypically a mechanic is gonna like try and dupe a female because they assume they don't know as much about a vehicle.
Insurance companies-
Insurance do it to redheads.
They assume you got a
This
pot of
redhead
gold
at
somewhere. Dude.
He's got a kind face. Let's f him over.
Yeah, seriously. Bunch of a-holes.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
Speaking of that, that's another thing that grinds my gears.
What?
Is when mechanic shops take advantage of the the people that don't know.
Unaware.
Right?
Dude, it's so
Yeah.
bad.
That happened to my nephew. He knows nothing about cars, and he shows up and to get his oil changed, and the mechanic comes out and he goes, "Oh yeah, you got this wrong. You need to do this." And he goes, "Oh, is that a big issue?" He goes, "Yeah, that's a big issue. We need to get this fixed." Went in to
Fix
get his
it
oil
right
change.
now.
Should have been about what, $40, $50 max. He
got
leaves.
fleeced,
He
huh?
leaves spending about $180.
Oh dang.
He told me that. Well, he told my brother, and my brother called him an idiot. And then he told me, and I'm like, "Are you really that stupid?" And he's like,
Way to
"I
kick a
didn't
guy when
know."
he's down.
I know,
Dang.
right? We gave him such a hard time, but now he knows. That's the best part. Now he knows.
Do
See,
research.
my problem is because I'm an honest person, I assume everybody else is.
That's true.
And so it's kind of like you're innocent until proven guilty. Like mine is like you're trustworthy until proven guilty type thing.
same.
Like, I don't know.
You have my trust immediately until you lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't refer to companies though.
Yeah.
I've learned that in the
Yeah,
long run.
true.
Like, I've lost a lot of money.
I can imagine.
Like going in for the oil change, I remember one time we went in and I had Jess just go in, and she calls me up and she's like, "Do we need to get this done and this done?" And I'm
Cabin
like,
air filter?
No, no, we don't need a cabin air filter. We don't need an air filter.
I'm gonna guess
We
you
don't
went to
need
Jiffy
blinker
Lube.
fluid.
Yep, exactly. Jiffy Lube,
Yeah, dude.
1000%.
Notorious.
And like the air filter was, they charged an astronomical
They
amount.
always
for
go
it.
yeah.
for the top.
The air filter, I called them out once. They were like, "Yeah, you need a new air filter." I'm like, "Oh, how much is that?" And they're like, "Looks like I can get you one for about $35." And I heard him pull it up on Amazon. I said, "I'm good. I can get on Amazon for $10."
$5.
Yeah, $5.
Yeah.
No,
And they
that
were
was
like,
for a
"Well,
premium."
well, remember, you get what you pay for. And I said, "Great. If it lasts me 6 months, I'll buy another one and I'm still saving money. Thanks."
Well, the thing that pissed me off is there was one time that I went in and they come out and they're like, "Yeah, did you want to get your air filter replaced? It's really dirty." And they're showing me this air filter and it's all caked with like dirt, dust, and leaves.
It wasn't even your air filter, was it?
And I'm like, "Yeah, except for that's not my car's air filter." Because I know what my air filter looks
Right.
like. I've replaced
Wait,
it many
like
times.
it wasn't even the right kind?
It was just an air filter that they had chilling
Oh, they
somewhere
had
in the
sitting
back.
on the side somewhere.
But I guess I just look like the type that wouldn't know.
That's so sketchy.
I was like, dude, that's not
See,
even my air filter.
I wouldn't even be in that situation. I'd be like, you got an air compressor. You need to blow that off real
It's
quick.
funny. That's what I told him one time. I said, "You got an air compressor out there?" "Yeah." "You just give it a little blow off. It'll be fine."
Just you got a count. Just can I see that real quick? Just slap it on the counter. Good. Just all dirt all over this stuff.
And then on top of it, yeah, of course, we've all been cheap.
No,
before.
do them.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, we're good. I've done that. I've literally done that. Oh man.
Well, and the funny thing is I'm like, so that's my air filter. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, so what are you charging me for? Because you've already taken it out,
Yeah,
and you're gonna put it back.
for free, correct?
So can you just sell me that filter for $10 since you have to put one back anyway? And they were like, "Oh no, there's a service." I'm like, "You're doing the service right now."
You're holding it in your hand.
I didn't sign up for this.
I would love to be there watching.
Something's got to be glued back no
idiots.
matter what.
You know, that's what I wish I had a superpower of knowing exactly what to say, when to say it in the moment. Because I'm so 100% guilty of walking away and like 10 minutes later, like, oh, I should have said
You want to
this.
turn around and go through the door. And another thing. Dude, I went to Les Schwab and had my tires rotated.
Les Schwab.
Les Schwab.
Les Schwab. That sounded so fancy.
Well, he is a little.
Les Schwab.
That's my ancestors you're talking about.
sorry. And that's all I needed was my tires rotated.
Right.
And sure enough, they come back and they're like, "Hey, your cold weather low amps on your battery are pretty low. You really need to get those replaced. We can replace that for like $280 today." And I'm like, $280? I'm like, I bought that battery at Walmart for $50 before the core fee. We're good. I'm good. Bye.
It's funny. They did the same thing to me. So I took it there to get my tires replaced.
Like, why are you
And
touching the battery?
They come in and they go, it looks like your right tie rod it's loose. It's not supposed to go anywhere. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, while we're in here, do you want us just to replace it? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. So they fix all of it, everything, put the new tires on, car runs great. So 6 months later, whatever it is, I go to get my tires rotated and I take it to another one. Well, they look up on my thing to notice that I had my right one replaced. So the guy comes back and, hey, it looks like your left tie rod's a little loose.
Sons of...
You want us to go ahead and replace that? And I'm like, how much is that going to cost? They're like, it's about $250 right now. I'm like, I ain't got that type of money. So just go ahead and just do what I asked.
Tighten
and
it up. And
You got wrenches, right?
well, here's the part. I was like, just do what I asked and just I'll figure it out later. He goes, okay, that's fine. So then later down the road, I needed my brakes done, all that stuff. And so I went to another mechanic. Mm-hmm. Just this one was just a plain city mechanic, no other affiliates to him. And I'm like, hey man, I need to have my, let's do a tire rotation and I need to get brakes done. And I said, also there's something about my left tie rod. I think it's gone bad. If we could just replace that too. And he goes, oh yeah. He calls me up like half an hour later. He goes, hey man, you said something about your left tie rod. He goes, yeah. And he goes, dude, there's nothing wrong with this thing. It is solid. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, man, it is solid. Like,
Yeah,
I ain't touching it. And I'm
both
like,
of them, for as old as they are. What do you mean, both of them? The other one's new.
But the problem is there's no consequences for these guys doing this
Exactly.
stuff. That's the problem is they get away with it.
Dirtbags.
Even if you call them like, you caught us, but 100 other people didn't. You know
I
what
can
I
tell you
mean?
right now, I have not stepped foot back into a
Right.
Les Schwab since then. So,
it does make you wonder if people just say that things need to be replaced and then don't do anything.
well, that's
Yeah.
that's
Whether
it made
they
me
say
wonder
it,
if my
don't actually do
right
it,
one
charge
ever
you for it.
needed to be replaced.
Gosh, that's
Or if it ever got
terrifying.
replaced.
Yeah, or if it ever got replaced. Exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I wish I knew enough about cars I could just do my own
That's
thing.
one of those
Right?
things, dude. You need a mechanic. Like if you got trusted mechanics are hard to come by.
They are.
Yeah.
I found
Gotta
one.
have a guy.
Well, and the
It's
sad
like a
thing
unicorn.
the sad thing is cars nowadays are like 90% computers,
Right.
and so mechanics themselves are a dying breed. I don't know.
I thought I was a
Them
good
grease
mechanic.
monkeys.
I used to think I was a good mechanic, and then I started thinking about it, and I really had to have some self-reflection. And I'm like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm a part changer. That's what I am.
Yes.
I am just a
you're
part
right,
changer.
dude. You're right.
You know what I mean? If I look up and it says, okay, this part, I can change a part out. I'm not a mechanic.
Righty
Yeah.
tighty, lefty loosey.
Correct.
See, I'm lucky enough that my brother-in-law, he's a diesel mechanic for
Right.
FedEx. So now if I have anything wrong, I just call him up. Is this something we can work on over the weekend? And he's like, oh yeah, not a problem. Just we'll work on it. So then I just tell whoever I'm with, my brother-in-law's a
number?
mechanic.
Yeah, for real. I got my daddy.
Yeah, your dad's a stud.
He used to work on F-16s. He can fix my car
Oh, there you go.
and make it go faster.
You work on jet fuel, you can do anything.
Oh man,
What else grinds your gears, boys?
Dude,
boy, I got one.
you go.
Let's
I got
go.
one when you're done. I got one.
Is this going where I'm thinking it's going?
Yes, it is.
All right,
Let's
let's
do
we're
it.
jumping
Right.
in.
Let's go. Where are we going?
Transgenders in sports.
Rip! There goes the Band-Aid. Buckle your seats, everybody. It's going to get wild.
We're going. Crap,
Get
I
ready
was not
for some
expecting
truth.
that. It came out my nose.
The way you say oh, well, you know, it's a little thing called
Transgenders in sports. Oh, here come the comments.
all right.
Yep.
Sorry, it's the truth.
To clarify.
I'm sorry.
Clarify. Transgender, that's cool.
Yeah.
what you wanna
Honestly, we don't care.
do what you're gonna do.
It is.
Hey, your body, do what you want to do. We
Right.
don't care. Just
But-
don't ruin our sports.
I don't know.
Particularly, don't ruin female sports.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
There
That's
has
the
to-
biggest frustration.
There has to be like let's say boxing, for example, or UFC. It's like they're paired based off of their weight, right? You're not going to put a heavyweight against a featherweight.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. Why on earth, just because a man has decided to become a woman, suddenly can just be thrown into a sport with all these other women and dominate because of his size and her size.
Whatever.
Sorry,
His
it's-
size.
They're men.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Manly man.
My point is this. Oh my hell. Performance enhancing drugs are illegal in sports, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Competitive sports. That is a walking performance enhanced drug. You know what I mean?
It's
They're
true.
performing
Performance enhancing
exactly.
testicles.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
It's
that's
the
I think one
testosterone.
of the biggest ones that happened lately was, unless this was completely fathomed up, which it could have been, but anyways,
Fabricated.
There we go.
I like fathomed.
Fathomed
12 fathoms.
was
like
the
it.
current weightlifting record for
Oh, yeah, I
women's
heard
was
about that.
actually
Yes.
broken.
No, that was actually a woman.
Was it a woman?
Yeah, that reel that you shown, that he was just basically in essence telling that story. But that I think that woman that did that
Oh,
powerlifting
was it one of you
wall
guys that showed? I
was
didn't share
real.
that one, but it
I
was-
shared that one.
Oh,
think-
okay.
I think
Was
that-
that?
A biological woman.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she did break.
I thought
I
it
don't know if
was-
she actually broke the record.
I thought it was a
Well,
transgender that came in and broke
that video,
the
he
record.
says it's a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, it's like, hey, somebody, so and so broke the weightlifting world record at like
for women.
800 pounds,
700
700
700
pounds.
something. And he's like, he's gonna have to lift over 1,100 pounds to beat the mountain, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
you know, the
And they were like,
current
no, it's a
champion.
woman's.
And she's like, no, in women's. He's like, what, really? And then she's like, well, it's a trans woman. He's like, oh, so it's a man, so that doesn't count.
You go ahead and look that up. I'm actually curious if that's real because from what I thought, from what I heard, I think that was a born woman.
Okay.
You're referring to the swimmer, right?
I'm referring
Yeah.
to that swimmer.
Referring to the swimmer.
You shared
Leah-
that
Leah
that thing.
Thompson or
yeah,
Thomas or
Leah
something?
Thomas.
Yeah.
Who as a man was William Thomas, but yeah, she took first place.
Hold up. His name was William and he just dropped the Willie?
That's it for our show.
Wow, that was so
We're
perfect.
just about to be canceled, and everybody
my
have a
gosh.
good night.
Uncancelable.
Hey,
That was
in all
glorious.
fairness, if you see him in the bikini, the willy is not dropped. Just saying.
It's still there?
Oh yeah.
So there's another question. Like, what's the line?
Just because they
Long
gave,
hair and said, I'm a girl. And that was it?
well,
I'm
I mean,
sure there's
when did
more to it,
when did-
but I don't know.
Dirty Dosty Dendy Duster.
What did you just say?
Sorry. It's all the pronouns in German. I just
Oh,
When did they whatever it is? When he, she, they, them, when did they actually transition, do you know?
I don't.
when they were losing in men's sports?
Well, I don't know.
Right?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I did see something that was like 467th in men's like swimming and then
462nd in men's and then
Oh, yeah.
first in women's. But so here's my take on it is, and I think this is a bunch of garbage. Anyway, so in the comments, someone broke down the like his I'm just gonna say his speed from when he was a male and racing against men to when he transitioned and his record times now as a female.
Okay.
And there was a significant drop. And that's where people are like, that's what people don't understand is he's going through the transition and he's going through a hard time and he's doing all these things. Granted, that might be the case, but he's still built, like the foundation is still there.
Right.
Still genetically
you're still
man.
genetically advanced. Even though he didn't break the world record, that doesn't mean that he's not extremely advantaged in his specific race.
I've heard the biggest
Correct.
thing is his wingspan in his arms basically is
yeah.
a lot
He's
larger.
got like man shoulders.
yes.
Yeah.
Weird. They're just basically a lot longer.
You mean like he grew up a man?
There's an argument.
Interesting. Full
There's
of
an argument I
testosterone.
heard that they said it doesn't matter what's when we're dead and 200 years later and they're digging up our bones, they're gonna be able to say, okay, male or female based on bone structure and everything like that. That's just the way it is. I mean, in sports, it's all physical. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, not all, but I mean,
Well,
if
yeah,
you're physically
Depending on the
advantaged,
sport.
it helps out a ton. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a reason. Like, if there didn't need to be a distinction between men and women's sports, why is there?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
If they were really wanting equality, we would all play together.
Yeah.
get rid
And
of
unfortunately-
WNBA, get rid of
Yeah.
the
And if we're looking at
women's PGA, like
if we're looking at the draft though, no one's going to be drafting females. You know what I mean? If it was truly equal and we all played underneath the same league, sorry, your speed, your height, your weight, like all that is just not there.
Yeah. So
And that's not because you're not a fantastic athlete.
right. It's from trying to be equal, you're actually making things very unequal. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing that blows my mind about all of this. I don't understand how any feminist on this planet is okay with it.
Exactly.
But they like celebrate it. No, like a lot of the ones I've seen or even know personally,
Really.
like,
They're confused.
they're all about, they're like, go, good for her. And I'm like, Mike, you hate white men and you're letting one be better at things than you guys.
Yeah.
right.
I don't get it.
I mean, I think Dave Chappelle said it best when,
Right.
I was gonna
when he
say that
said
was a
LeBron James, say he went through a sex change and he crossed over to the WNBA, where he then would score 850 points a game.
Right.
It's just like, what does it
The
mean to truly
WNBA would
be
just
equal?
be the second
Right.
NBA.
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, the
the
funny
the RNBA, retired NBA.
You know what's funny is I actually want to go back and watch it now because there is a movie based around that principle from way back in the early 2000s.
Yes.
It's called Juwanna Man, and
yeah.
it's about a man who doesn't make it into the NBA, so he cross dresses and pretends to
Pretends
be
he's a girl.
Juwanna Man, and plays in the WNBA.
Oh my
there's a
gosh, dude.
handful of movies out there like that. Old Rodney Dangerfield one called Ladybugs.
Yep.
He dresses up his soon to be stepson as a girl to play on his all girls soccer team to have them to make them better. And, vice versa. There's She's the Man with Amanda Bynes where
Yeah.
she dresses up as a
She
boy
dresses
to
up
play
a boy
soccer.
to play soccer.
So I don't know.
Now, real quick, sorry, before I forget this little thought. Here's another argument against men transitioning to female and competing in female sports is the reverse is not true.
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't see females transitioning to male and then going out and crushing the competition.
Right.
And that right there is the argument that I think is needed is
Well, that's the proof.
if it wasn't true that that men are the superior athletes. I hate saying it that way because it makes me sound elitist, but it's not.
Right.
But if the reverse were true, then all of a sudden these women would be able to compete and they can't.
Right.
Yeah.
I did in a different sport. I mean, I did see a video of and it's not fake wrestling. It's
Oh.
the real wrestling.
No, I know exactly where you're going with this. It was the 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, who she went in on and she wanted to do wrestling in the school and I don't think they would allow her
With the
to.
boys, right?
Yeah. And then finally she got an opportunity to go in there and she actually did really
Well,
good.
Here's the thing: is she's transitioning.
Into a boy.
To a boy?
Yes.
Oh,
At 13.
okay.
So here's the thing, and I can't remember the ages, but whatever age bracket she played in, she is transitioning and is now all hopped up on testosterone. And the weight class and division that she is wrestling in, the boys have not hit that maturity yet. So she is theoretically doping, therefore making her stronger than her competition.
Holy crap.
Does that make
Wow.
sense?
Yeah, that makes yeah.
So if she were going against people her same level,
Yes,
she'd get destroyed.
exactly. Because
Well,
the
and there
boys that
was-
she's going against have
There
not
was
hit
actually
puberty.
a case where a guy was transitioning to a girl in high school or something, did a high school wrestling match and like wrecked this girl.
Oh.
like
Oh, I remember hearing
slammed her on
about
the
that.
mat. Her face was all bloody and like
Right.
messed her up.
Yeah.
I'm like, that should terrify you. Like, you want some dudes coming in here just messing girls up?
Well, there's
I
that.
mean,
But the thing is, too, is I guarantee you the family was probably like, it's what she wanted to do. Like, good on her. I don't know. But as a male, I'd probably feel horrible about that.
There's that MMA fighter too, as well, who went in the MMA, who was a male who transitioned to female, who didn't say anything about being transitioned, and she wrecked the competition. I mean, it was dangerous how bad she beat the crap out of these.
Yeah, you're
these
literally
these
making it
biological
okay.
females. Yeah, and I mean that's dangerous. That's super dangerous.
Sanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's literally, like, it feels like I could walk up to a girl, punch her in the face, and then say, "Oh, I'm a woman," and it's okay. Like, how is that not insane? How is that acceptable?
But I mean, there's the argument that you aren't transgender.
So what's
Excuse me, bigot.
very fast.
And that's how it works. That's literally how it works.
So what's the solution? That's because I had a similar conversation with another friend, and we were just trying to like, so what? Where do we go from here? Because clearly
we make-
transgender is not going away.
No.
We're not against it. We're just against it being in the sports.
Correct.
And so what's the solution? Is there a time frame of like how long you have to be transitioned? Is it
I think it comes down to tryouts. I say, fine, if you want,
Then you open a whole nother can
Yeah.
of worms with that.
so like do they need their own
because it's
league?
You make
because
that
they're
transgender
profiling.
league.
That's what I'm getting at.
No,
Is
but-
is
but then
there a
you're
Girl men
transgender
and
league?
men girls.
But then you're segregating and secluding them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is there's
There's
always going to
a
be
can of worms.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, but you could say segregating with men and women. We'll say the NBA again. It's like you got
All right.
the NBA and WNBA. It's like, are you segregating?
But we don't
Yeah.
care.
Oh,
what
I know,
mean? It's,
I know.
It's a point.
Yeah.
But I'm just
trying
saying.
to be proven. I know. I get what
I
you're
mean-
saying. I like it, but,
It is. Well, and that's the same thing too. Is the WNBA at this point could have complained, but they haven't. I feel like there's probably some WNBA stars that are better than actual NBA stars out there. Some women could have gone and played for these league NBA people, NBA
Yeah.
leagues or whatever, and done really well. But the fact of the matter is that they stayed in their
Yeah.
WNBA
But
leagues.
here's the point though, is I don't know the exact number, but I know it was like 99% of basketball players in the NBA can dunk. One player in
Yeah.
the WNBA can dunk.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, and then you would run into the other issues too. Let's say you've got
And I think the one player is transitioned.
So, okay. So then none of it.
I don't know.
But then you run into the issue of you got a WNBA star who might be playing in the NBA, and let's say someone's guarding her and gets a little frisky accidentally, and then you cause another whole
Yeah.
hoopla.
So, I mean, we're all fathers, all of us. I mean, our kids are a little bit too young to really, I mean, you guys are getting there as far as like your kids being able to play high school sports, junior high sports. How would you feel about a transitioned male playing against your daughter?
I'd be frustrated.
Oh yeah.
Unless so again, going back to like the tryout thing, the problem, like I say tryouts to make it as fair as possible, but as much as I hate to say it, and again, it depends on the sport, but if you have, we'll say basketball, because it's, so you got the 5 players who play at a time during the game. You have 5 transgenders who were men who transitioned to women, but you have a whole bunch of people try out, and let's say, 20 people make the team, but these same 5 are going to be the starters because they dominate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
in a competition, in a game, that's all that honestly should matter is how good you are at it.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that a lot of these competitions, they're made for, like, you look at football, they're all giant men.
gigantic.
Like, they're huge. And, I mean, me and Austin went up against a female football team. We got our trash handed to us.
Well, But for our first day,
and we're not football players.
we're not
recreational
football players, and we did arguably okay.
We did decent, but we still got our butts kicked. But it's also because we're not football players.
Yeah. We've
But I
never
mean-
we've never taken a snap in our lives before that
You
moment.
you look back at that time that our very own national women's soccer team played a high school soccer team and lost. High school men's soccer team. So our female national team played a high school boys team and they got their trash kicked. It was like 7-2.
Wow.
It's just by trying to make everything equal, it's really
Equality,
stacking the deck against the females. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Against women.
It's not fair.
And it blows my
not.
mind
See,
that people are okay with it.
I just want to make the point that the reason I'm saying this is out of fairness for women.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
1,000%.
100%,
And that's the
right?
point we're taking is
Yeah.
like I have daughters and I want them to go out and be able to play
Well, and it's-
soccer, but
yeah.
I don't want them to play against basically a man on the field,
Chris said it perfectly. It's the enhancing drugs, right? You basically have a genetically enhanced.
Well, if I remember right too, with this swimmer, they got first place, and then the second and third place actually were cheered more.
The second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, they celebrated more, and people cheered them more than the first place, and so it was like, even though he got first place or she got first
Yeah.
place or whatever,
But that's messed up. It's still
like
just
the other people were treating the second place as if she got first place.
Yeah.
Because people understood that, well, this is a transgender who came over and had a significant advantage over
Well,
them.
and you don't know the real reason. I mean, because everyone throws around that like picture that shows, was it William Thompson, Thomas or Thompson? Anyways, shows them before transition. They're like ranked 790 something in men's
462nd.
460.
462nd in men's swimming, and then all of a sudden you turn into a girl and you're number one. Like, so what was the motivating factor?
Yeah.
Did they do that specifically to be better? Or you have this Laurel Hubbard. Remember this person? It was a man transitioned to a woman, went to the Tokyo Olympics for women's heavy lifting.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh,
See, and
I
that's-
do remember that.
Yeah, and she won gold.
Now, here on the flip side, though, from a medical standpoint, the person I spoke to earlier about this subject was he's a doctor going through all of his trainings and stuff, and he's had to deal with a lot of transitioned patients. And he's like, it always makes me so mad because on the operating table, male versus female, very different.
Yeah.
You could easily kill one versus the other if your numbers are wrong. So if you are in the hospital and you tell me female and I'm pulling up all the stuff that's female and you're a transitioned female, I could kill you without knowing that information.
Yeah.
And
it's all because
I've never
He's
considered
like-
that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. And he's like, it'll make me so mad because we will be sitting there, I'll be interviewing him, whatever, and then all of a sudden we'll be like, come time to do surgery or whatever, because he fixes like broken bones and stuff like that. And of course you like say it's a femur or something, and sure enough, there's a freaking willy. But yet you've been
Excuse me,
claiming you're a
miss?
female.
You have some sort of growth.
Well, and that's the base argument of all of this. Is like at the end of the day, like you can't change the science of the difference between male and
See,
female.
here's the funny thing. Let's go. The
biology.
Yeah, the biology.
Let's go to our comments about the moon landing that we had. Science. You even said in the middle of the thing, science, bitch.
Exactly. Aaron Paul.
Here we are with this, and I get it. You want to be what you want to be. I have no problem with that. But what it comes down to is science.
Yeah.
You know,
And
your biology. And that's unfortunately what it always comes down to. And my biggest thing about this, like how, my biggest frustration in all this is, you got a transgender person who legit wants to be a male being a female or something like that. And you might have someone who maybe this swimmer, like you said, the motivation between it, was it because they were horrible at swimming, so they wanted to do good? So I'm all of a sudden a woman?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
never
the
know.
frustration I have is you have some people I think are taking advantage of this new
The system.
day and age system where I can now just clarify I'm a woman and bam, I can do things. And you're ruining it for the legit people who want to be a legit transgender.
Yeah.
And that's the frustrating thing too.
Yeah.
You know?
So if it gets to point, do you think that you you lose motivation to compete because you know that the deck's stacked against you and you're training hard and everything and you know it's just never going to be that way as a woman competing in female sports.
And that's the hard thing because I don't think there's a way to because you have this transgender man who now is clarifying as a woman, wants to swim.
Right.
You can't just turn him away because now you're a bigot. Now you're being prejudiced against him, and that opens a whole nother can of worms, and you get sued. Right. So you've got to let him compete. Like there's really no other way around it. Like I just don't see any way.
That's why I'm a dead guy.
It.
Maybe they like dumb it down a little bit. Kind of like, I mean, you can only do this with races. So like swimming, for example, where, I went to a drag race one time and they gave
What kind of drag race?
I knew that was coming.
High heels.
But they gave the faster car a bit of a handicap. They let the slower car start first. They gave it the green light first and then gave the faster car the green light a couple seconds later to try and even it up. It's like that's.
But then it's not. How is that even a race? Like, how is that?
So maybe we make it like golf.
Because that's just straight on skill. So they'll give a handicap for racing, like if it's in a different class, like the car's in a different class. So they'll give the other guy a head start. And that way it's all on your reaction time to the green light.
Shouldn't you give them the same car, though?
Well, it's their personal cars.
Well, that's how they do it.
But
in
that's
golf.
what I'm saying is if
Right.
you want to know true skill, you would have to level the equipment.
They base it down to just your reaction time to the green light and shifting and everything. That's how they give you the handicap for that.
I was gonna say in golf, you play with a handicap.
So I guess that's my point. Is if transgenders are going to start being in sports, find a way to handicap it.
I don't know. Me personally, if I worked my butt off
Right.
to compete in something and I only won because the other person had a handicap, I wouldn't feel like I won.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
that doesn't
Well, and
show
there's-
I'm the best. I didn't work hardest to be the best at it.
Well, and it also doesn't account for any of the sports that are team based.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's
Like
true,
playing
too.
football, like what are they gonna do? Give it one alligator?
They don't.
One alligator go.
No, playing football. They have to take for every transgender. They get one less person on the field.
There you go.
It's two people.
I don't know. It's
And I know this is a very
a very touchy
controversial and touchy subject, but I hope you understand where we're coming from. And I know that this is obviously going to irk a lot of people.
It is.
Oh yeah.
The
And
comments
most
are
of
gonna
you
be
probably
lit.
left comments before you even got this far because a lot of
Yeah.
people like to do things out of context. But
Uh-huh.
anyways,
Hence the moon landing one. A lot of people still think you don't believe in the moon landing.
oh, I got you all pretty good.
But
So
The hard thing is I think we all mean well when it comes to this. I know
Yeah.
we've made a few jokes, we've had a few laughs, but we all mean well. I mean, I know all of you guys
We all-
personally, and I know we all mean well.
I
out of
know
this whole
people
thing.
who are transitioned in my own life, and I'm not mean to them.
Yeah, same
We're
here.
friends. I can talk to everyone. Like my biggest thing with all of this stuff is I'm all about you living your life, doing your thing, and having a great time. As long as you're not trying to force me to go along with it, feed into it, or do anything.
doesn't
And
affect everybody else's.
you
lives.
afford me the same right. Let me
Right.
live my life the way I want to.
Right.
And
You know what
don't need to
grinds
feed
my
into it.
gears?
Huh.
People that correct me on their pronouns.
Yes. That is obnoxious. How am I supposed to know?
You
We just
dress
met.
like a girl, you look like a girl,
You
and yet
talk
you're
like a girl.
telling me you're a man.
For real.
How about you just assume the best in humanity and that I'm
Yeah.
not trying to offend you?
Correct.
Just
Exactly.
be kind to everyone and choose not to be offended.
Right.
I feel like the people that take that to heart are people that are looking to be the victim of something.
there's a lot of
You're
that.
trying to find a reason to be angry.
Yeah.
Grinds my gears.
It grinds my gears.
You know what else grinds my gears?
What else?
People who are not self-aware of the space they take up.
Yeah, I know a guy.
Specifically. He says, as I've kept my knee on the inside of the table leg this whole time, specifically not to bug him. Also, people who aren't appreciative of things you do to help them.
I appreciate it. I just don't notice.
But I mean, like, when you're walking through a mall or some public place with a small aisle, you and your family of like 12 decide y'all want to walk hand in hand, side by side, slower than any human in the world.
Right?
Bro, you know what? That right there, they're begging for a Red Rover, man.
Right, dude?
I run right through that chain link.
I'm going to punch someone in the back of the knee next time. Just take them down and jump over them.
Fantastic. You run through their hands and then stand in front of them and call them over. All right, your turn.
Right, you, me, let's go.
You just start yelling. Behind them.
But like, and all the people at like grocery stores who will stand right in front of what you need and they see you, but don't like move back or move aside.
Or when you have the two people starting a conversation in the middle of the aisle. And then it's like, I need to just skip.
Can you guys
Try being the person trying to stock the shelves. And I'm in the middle of stocking or doing something, you know, making it look good. And next thing you know, there's a hand that comes right in front of my face and starts grabbing stuff. And I move over and I'm like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get in your way. And they're like, oh no, I just needed to grab this one thing. And I want to look at them and say, a simple, excuse me, can I grab that real quick? That's all you have to say is, pardon me, I need to hurry and grab something real quick.
kill them with passive aggression?
we don't talk to the stalker boy.
We don't talk to the staff.
Man, like, it's just
lead with an elbow next time.
right?
Sorry, what?
Bam. Oh,
Just
I'm
move
sorry.
aside and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say excuse me. My
What you do is
Common courtesy ain't
you just
common
keep
anymore.
reaching up
No.
and touching their hand. Like as they reach for it, you kind
Right.
of do one of these like, oh, I'm sorry. Were you reaching for that? You just kind of keep awkwardly touching their hand.
Wait, have to be faster than that.
That's sexual harassment.
What's even worse is when you're doing it and all of a sudden you just finished stocking something, making it look good, facing it up, and they don't even say anything. They reach over, grab something right in front of you that you just stocked, and they pull it and they go, I'm so sorry I had to take that. You had it looking so beautiful, and I just came up and ruined it all. Okay, then put the thing back.
right.
Walk
You're right,
away.
you did.
You
Take your
did.
shit and go.
You ruined it.
So what would you prefer them to do in
Yeah,
that
I was
case?
going to say, well, you led both sides.
Yeah.
No, honestly, walk up, say, excuse me, do you mind if I grab something real quick? Yeah, not a problem. I'll step out of the way. They grab something and then they walk away. Don't talk to me and don't say I am so sorry.
You know, don't be a nice human.
Okay, conversation,
Right.
that's fine, but don't look at me and say, I am so sorry. I just ruined your perfect shelf.
One guy's gonna grab it. You're right.
Like, just, excuse me, do you mind if I grab something real quick? How's your day going? Great,
You know.
great. Like, I don't mind small conversation.
Good, great. Go, get your shit, get out of here.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Like, but I don't know. The stupid comments of, oh my, you did such a good job and I
They're
just,
just being
ruined it.
nice.
But at the same time, it's like, you don't need to throw that in there. Don't tell me that you ruined it. You already know you did.
You don't
I
need
know
to
you
tell
did.
them how
Walk
not to tell
away.
you.
I think what it is it's one of those things. It's a hazard of
I'm
the
that
job
guy,
where
sorry.
you hear that every person that says it thinks they're original in saying it,
Exactly.
but you've
That's
heard it
it.
a million times.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Like when I worked at Applebee's as like a host, and we would give like the little vibrating like table thing. We'd always be like, okay, hey, you know, wait's about 30 minutes. This thing's going to buzz and go off when it's done. And we take it right off the charger and we hand it to them. And it takes like 5 seconds, but then it buzzes because it's activated. And every single time they're like, oh, our turn already? And I'm like, I'm like, shut up. You all say the same stupid joke. Like, go away.
I hear it all the time too at the credit union. Oh man, people are. Anything else I can do for you today? You giving away free samples? Oh boy. Like,
How about some free money?
If a joke comes to your mind super easily,
it's probably
everyone
already been
else
said.
probably said it. Don't say it.
yeah, there's pens and suckers. Walk out.
You guys are gonna give me a complex. 'Cause people.
You're the
Chris
guy.
is the
No,
one
I'm
saying
not-
the jokes.
I do sometimes, but at the same time, like I'll be working on a dent and I have to knock down things. Like I thought you're supposed to be taking dents out, and it never bugged me, but now it's gonna bug me.
Of course it is.
It used to know I was like, haha, yeah, you know, good job. but it didn't bug me. But now it's
removing
gonna
the dents, not putting them
now
in.
it's gonna bug me. It's really gonna bug me now. Can you keep it down over there? I say that a lot too.
Yeah.
You
That
guys.
now you need to you have to say the joke before they do,
Man,
and then
you
they're
guys
just
are
like,
bitter humans.
no, it just
That's what
grinds
this
our gears.
episode's about.
Oh,
Being bitter.
That's how we get it
better.
out. This is how we release the bitterness so we can move on happy.
What's the biggest? What's the biggest question you get at Apple? Do you get asked for a free laptop all the time or anything?
do I get a discount?
Yes,
Is that
all the time.
Yeah.
So anything free come with this? You throw in a free case?
You guys get a military discount? No, I'm just kidding.
That's a joke. Do I discount if I buy 2 or more?
Yeah. Buy one get one free.
All the time.
Oh, do they get a discount then?
No,
it's Apple? Are you kidding me?
they don't get nothing.
Apple doesn't get discounts.
What's that word mean?
Buy one get one. BOGO.
Buy one get one for the same price you just bought the first one for.
You know,
You want to know something funny? Sorry. This Girl Scout tried to do that one time with the Girl Scout cookies. She was all, let's see. It was like, yeah, 1 box for $5 or you can get 4 for $20. I'm like,
Like, smart. 10, 15, 20.
smart. Little entrepreneur there.
all right. Like, you're good. You're going places. And
Good thing you're a cute little girl.
then I walked out of
Here,
there with
take
8
the money.
boxes.
Well,
Girl Scouts are adorable when they
like
ask you
you.
though.
it's
They're so
like the
adorable.
same thing that you posted. You sent that Walmart picture of the Mandalorian. Was it you?
No, it was Austin.
Or it was you of the Mandalorian where it was,
It was
Walmart.
Boba Fett.
it was Boba Fett. It was like $29.99, and then it says rollback $32.99.
Oh yeah.
Roll back forward. Dude, it's so funny.
That's something that grinds my gears, and it's not their fault, but Walmart employees. Because
Hey. I used to be one.
sorry,
Grinding your gears.
just the only reason I say that is because I feel like nobody in that store knows where anything is.
Qualified.
Like I walk in and it's like, oh man, I don't know where this is. Well, guess I'm not buying it. Because I'm like, I could ask anybody in this store. If I don't know where it's at, nobody knows where
Well,
it's
the
at.
thing is like you ask them where it is. I don't know, and it's not like let me find out for you. It's just like
Well, that used
I
to
don't know.
be that used to be
that way.
The thing is, I used to have a vest you'd have to wear that said, "How can I help you?" or something.
Right.
And it was you were trained that if someone came and asked you, you walked with them all the way to the product.
That's how Smith's is.
Right.
That's how it
remember
used to
those
be.
What
So
happened?
that's surprising. I don't know. I haven't been to Walmart in forever.
But even if they say I don't know, it's not like, hey, let me find out for you. As
Yeah.
my job to find out for you.
Yeah.
Well, now, I mean,
Good luck.
a lot of apps you can actually just, if you have the app downloaded on your
Right.
phone, you can just
Best.
punch it in and it'll tell you exactly where it is.
True.
No human contact.
Yeah. I do that all the time at Home Depot because I hate having
dude.
to ask. I'm like, I don't know where this is. And I
best-
don't want to look like a beta.
You're staring at the screws. You're like, I don't know what's
Where's,
Am I looking for a
where's this?
hex hand, a Phillips hand, a flat hand, a star hand? What's going on?
My favorite.
Millimeters,
since
inches?
You buy them all. You just buy them all.
I'm, my favorite since I'm in grocery stores all the time, working for Red Bull, is I get on a daily basis, someone walks up to me, yeah, can you tell me where this is at? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just work for Red Bull. I don't work for Walmart or whatever store I'm at. And they're like, oh, so you don't know where it's at? You can go try aisle 12. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry.
do that. You should. That'd be awesome.
You should walk out the front door with them and look at the sign and be like, it's different.
Or be like, yeah, follow me, and just walk out the store. Have them follow. See how far they follow you.
Right?
Just see how far they follow you.
Oh, there's
Like,
another
as you're
one.
going to your Red Bull truck, to see if they follow you
Just
all
start
the
walking to
way.
my Red Bull truck.
The thing that
No,
bothers
just start
me-
walking around the store.
That's what you should do. Then start looking
Just
back.
up and down each aisle.
Do like a Dory where you start leading someone and then you start
exactly.
panicking and you just start running off.
And then when they come up to you, you turn around. Why are you following me?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Have you ever
That'd
just
be
been walking in a
hilarious.
store and someone random looks at you and they're like, hey, do you work here? And you look at
Yes.
yourself and you're like, what would lead you to that conclusion? I look like you.
I got that a lot when I worked for Rent-A-Center because Rent-A-Center, we had red polos and blue polos. And so if I ever went into a Target or a Best Buy, that's what I get. Do you work here? And I'd look at it and say Rent-A-Center right here. And I'm like, no. Oh, I just saw the red. You looked like you were, or I was in Best Buy. Oh, I just saw the blue. It just looked like you work here. It says Best Buy. I mean, it says Rent-A-Center. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, I even used to get it when I'd be at work and like in uniform, walkie-talkie, name tag, like all these things are like, do you work here?
No, I just like to dress up as an Apple employee.
Disguise.
Yes.
Do I look like I work here?
Undercover boss.
That's what you should do. Do I look like I work here? Well, yeah. Oh my gosh, I did it then. Wonder if they'll let me go in the back room and take something.
Just run the back.
Hey, I read something somewhere that you can get into anywhere if you act confident enough and carry a clipboard.
Oh, I heard there was
Ladder.
a
Ladder.
The latter too. I've heard it both ways.
Clipboard's a lot easier to carry.
Right.
True.
The ladder's funny though.
True.
I saw that video. They had a TikTok or whatever.
Didn't
and these
they
two
walk
guys
like backstage into a concert or something?
They
Like,
did. Oh no, they. I think they did something like that. They also walked into like
Are
a
they
movie
breaking a
theater.
Breaking the law.
There was one I saw. They were going on it was on a back lot of like a movie production or something. And they come walking through and the guard person's like, hey, you can't go through this way. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's my first day. He's dressed like a backstage person. And he's like, it's my first day. I don't know where I'm going. I was just told to come this way. And she's like, oh, it's fine, dear. This happens all the time. Just continue on that way. But just know tomorrow, when you come in tomorrow, you got to go the other way. All right. I'm so sorry. He keeps on walking. Doesn't even work there.
Dude, here's one. It's when someone asks you a question and you give them an answer, but then they come back with the no. You're like, well,
I hate
wait a second. You don't know the answer, so how do you know I'm wrong? You asked me.
Are you talking about kids?
Kids will do it. I have adults do it all the time. Ask me a question, I give them the answer, which I know is the right answer, and they're like, no. And I'm like,
What if
do
they
you
were just
know?
like? What if they were just like wrong? Just look at wrong.
yeah, like, what, for real? Like, either one, if you know the
this a
answer,
test?
why
Pop
are you
quiz.
asking the question?
Pop quiz.
Yeah, for real. And two, if you don't, why do you know it might not be the right answer?
So that was Katie after we saw the Batman. We took her to see that, me and Kara did. And afterwards she goes, Dad, who was the Riddler? And I said, Katie, you remember the guy with the glasses and the weird mask and stuff? And she goes, yeah. And I said, that was the Riddler. She goes, no, it wasn't. And I'm like, yeah, it was. And she goes, no, it wasn't. The guy in the jail cell at the end, that was the Riddler, the one who said, riddle me this. And I said, no, we don't know who that is. That's either the Joker, Two-Face, someone. No, that was the Riddler. And I'm like, no, Katie, this other guy who you saw through the whole movie doing all this stuff, sending the cards, all that was the Riddler. No, it wasn't, Dad.
It's because
All
you're
right, I
sitting
give
up
up
on
on
this
this
conversation. I
conversation
love
now.
you, but you're dumb.
Or you're sitting down playing a video game and your friend tells you that you're not playing the new one, but you had just paid for it and had downloaded it and was playing it with your other friend.
Arguing
And
to
then
the
they
death.
argued for 20 minutes on whether it was new or not.
It was 5 minutes.
Still, he's got cranked it
And
out, too.
we were both right.
We were not both right.
You said you'd never played that level before. I said I'd played it years ago, and you're like, no, it's a brand new level. It was not a brand new level. It was an old
In
Wii level.
As themed.
in fairness, you did say you played it on the Switch.
Lawyered.
He's
I don't
speechless.
I am now
That
remembering.
grinds my
You
gears.
said it came on your Switch when you bought it a few years ago.
I now remember I'm saying that. All right.
So what do we do?
I apologize, my friend.
He owned up.
I do.
you.
I
Thank
will
you.
apologize for that.
Nice.
So one thing I've won all week.
No. Cam, though, on the whole people saying you're wrong, kind of on the same topic is I hate it when it's like people come up, ask you a question, you give them the answer, and it's like, can I just speak to a supervisor? It's like, I just gave you the same answer they're going to give
I hope
you.
you have a hat. So you're just like, yeah, not a problem.
Supervisor.
Oh, I wish.
It reminds me of that movie. Oh gosh, what was it? It was a scary movie where they downloaded an app, and the app basically ended up killing people. It was a pretty good movie. But the girl goes to like a cell phone store to see if she can get a new phone, get it fixed, whatever. And she's there, and the guy behind the counter is like kind of in an argument with this lady, and she's like, "I want to return this," and he's like, "It's broken." She's like, "It was a crappy phone. You need to return it for me." He's like, "I'm not gonna do that." She's like, "I need to speak to your manager." He's like, "Okay." And he spins around. He's like, "Hi, I'm the manager." And she's like, "You think you're funny?" He's like, "A little bit." And she's like, "You know what? You just lost yourself a customer." He's like, "Oh no. Do you think I'll be able to like find another one?"
I wish we could talk to customers that way sometimes.
I legit
Oh, man.
witnessed this exact thing up at Park City. I went in there to get my boots fitted into this boarding shop. And this lady came in as I was sitting on the like boot heater thing. And she's like, "I need to return this pole. It broke out on our first ride out, and the pole's broken, and I want it replaced." And you could tell she was an out of towner, probably from like Brooklyn, just saying. And she just had that like angry accent, and
A lot of phlegm.
he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Your first day out?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I can see where you hit something against it. Like there's a bend and where it broke. Like you can see the point of impact." She's like, "Yeah, but it's brand new. It was like I bought it just yesterday." He's like, "Yeah, it was brand new until you broke it."
Oh, I love it.
And she was like, "So there's nothing you can do." He's like, "If it wasn't broken, yeah, but
I can sell you another.
it's broken.
But
I
you
can sell you
broke
another."
it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, you just lost a customer." He's like, I'm sorry. Okay. And then he just goes on to helping someone else. I'm like, man, I felt the tension in the air on that one.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Dude, just don't be entitled. That's the biggest gear grinder.
Oh, that's a big one.
You want to know how people become entitled? This is what grinds my gears. Because this has happened to me before. When you have a supervisor telling you, like, "Hey, if this and this happens, treat it as such in this way." So when a customer comes up and they complain to you, and you're like, you do exactly what your supervisor tells you. You treat it as such. You tell them, "I'm sorry, I can't do this, yada, yada, yada. I want to talk to your supervisor." Okay, great, not a problem. So you expect your supervisor to come over, tell them the exact same thing, and then the supervisor looks at him and goes, "I am so sorry this happened to you. Let me take care of this for you."
I hate
Right in front of you and
I
makes
hate
you
that.
look like the idiot.
You're the uber
And
douche.
yeah, and then the person looks at you like, "Oh, see, I told you I could get this fixed." And this happened to me before, and as the person walks away, I look at the supervisor and I'm like, "What was that all about?" Because I handled it the way you told us to handle it. "I know, man, but some of the times you got to make exceptions, and we just had to do it this way this one time." And
It's
I'm
like,
like,
no,
we
she
make the
had you
exception
terrified.
every time they come after us.
yeah. And so that's why people
"Did you
become
see her? She
entitled
was
when they start
huge."
asking.
It's because you won't have to do the dirty work. Yep. That's
Exactly.
The
Yep.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. In my current job now, it's happened a few times. I've told customers, "Hey, man, I can't do that. I'm so sorry." Like, I'll give you the perfect example. So we had bars on our routes. Okay. So I would deliver bars, all this stuff, and then they got pulled. I didn't know this until I pulled up to a bar, went to deliver them, but it couldn't pull up their account. So then I had to spend a half hour with this guy yelling at me, getting frustrated because where am I supposed to get my Red Bull from now? And I'm like, "I am so sorry. There's nothing I can do. It's been pulled off my route, blah, blah, blah. We can take care of this." So I explained to this whole scenario. Finally got him calmed down, understanding that it's nothing I can do. This was not me. It was my corporate, yada, yada. I get a phone call yesterday from one of my managers. "Hey, man, can you go deliver this bar?" "Okay, what's different now from 2 weeks ago when I called you and asked you to deliver it and you flat out told me, no, we can't?" "Yeah, some things have changed. We really can't talk about it, but I need you to go deliver this."
They called and were really mean to
So
me.
I'm like, so wait a minute. I spent a half an hour getting this guy calmed down and understanding that Red Bull can't deliver to him anymore. Now I get to call him back and tell him, "Hey,
Just kidding.
my bad. I can deliver to you, but only until the 1st of April. And then after that, I can't deliver to
it a
you
law?
anymore. I don't know what it is. No, they won't tell us anything.
Huh.
They won't tell
Corporate
us.
rule or something. Huh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So now I look like the idiot because I'm the one that told them I can't deliver to you. And now I'm calling them back saying, oh, I
So
can
hold up.
deliver
They're
to you.
going to have you
That's why
deliver
you
to
don't-
them for 1 week.
Yep.
You don't call them. You show up in the dead of night. You drop them off by the back door and you run away.
Well, he has to
You
pay.
show up, you say, hey, I don't know what they agreed to, but here's your Red Bull. Not on me, man.
Oh, that's,
Oh yeah, dude.
that's my plan.
I'm not
but
taking
at
Like,
the
hey,
same time,
me again. The Overlord said I have to bring this to you.
The Overlord.
that's a good. I'm gonna call this guy tomorrow and be like, hey man, I don't know what's going on, but I was told I have to bring you cases again.
For 1 week.
Yeah, for
And
only
then you
1
can
week.
be angry again.
Yeah, then after that, you be angry whoever you want to.
Give him the personal number of your supervisor. Like, you can talk to this guy.
I think that's what happened. Is I told him no, and I think he called the supervisor enough times where they're like, "All right, well, we'll bring you some Red Bull. I'll have Zach
Dude,
come
I
deliver to you
I
again."
hate how spineless people are. I'm like, just say no. Like, come on.
Right?
But then they get mad. That's their own fault. They're entitled. Here's the thing. And I say this all the time, and I don't know who needs to hear this. But if you come up to anyone and you're just super nice, we will go to the moon to find a solution for you. But the second you come in and you're mean, even if I can give you an easy solution, I don't know what to do. Like, if you're a douche, it's like, oh man, there's nothing we could do. That's so. Oh my
You
god,
have no
that's so hard.
motivation. No motivation.
None at all.
Here's the thing, too. Just because you get upset at something doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly.
yeah.
I had a lady just not too long ago that I'm shocked it came out of my mouth.
Like where this is headed.
Well, it's not as like bad as it sounds, but she was up at the tellers making a fuss, and so they put her into the lobby, and we have like a system that they put them in the lobby, their name, what they need, and it's like she wants to speak to a supervisor. She's really upset, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay. So I go up, and I say her name, and she's like, oh, so you're the lucky one. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just like, oh gosh, here we go.
I don't know about that.
And she said she's like, I just want you to know I'm extremely upset. I'm like, well, as long as you know it wasn't my fault. I said it just like that. And she just like, I could honestly see her demeanor just immediately like, oh.
You know, you're right.
And we sat down, we had a conversation about it, got it worked out, and we were
Right.
done. But it was just one of those
nice.
things where it's like she came in wanting to rip someone apart, and I'm like, listen, whatever you're upset about, I personally did not do. Don't take it out on me. That's a gear grinder right there.
I've actually had
De-escalated.
to.
That's good.
I've actually had to apologize to a few people with that because I've done the same thing. I've
Yeah.
phone services. I'll call up, and I start getting frustrated right off the bat. And they were like, "I am so sorry, sir. I want you to know that I will do the best I can. This wasn't me that caused this." And I immediately have to go, you know what? You're right. I am so sorry for getting mad at you, but I'm frustrated. And they're like, "No, I can tell you're frustrated."
That's what
And
happened with your
that's-
insurance bill. And then you end up paying 10 grand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was 14.
So next time,
Or whatever it was.
14.
Yeah. Not my fault, but sorry.
See, and that's just it too. I've had people sit at my desk and I can tell they're like fuming, but they have like a composure about them because they know that I'm doing my best to help
Right.
the situation.
Yeah.
I can see the difference in those people. The other ones that are pointing at me, you did this. It's like, first off, I didn't do this.
Tell me my name.
didn't
What's
do
my
this.
name?
Right?
The ones that
No,
are
your
being
parents
nice to
did
you, but-
this because they birthed you.
The ones that are pissed but not trying to be nice to you, they're like the dog that's pissed off that you're just giving a little treat. It's not me. I'm trying to help you.
It's okay. Dude, and I'm all about forgiveness if a person owns up to that anger, even if they were mean at first.
Right.
But they own up and they're like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm frustrated. I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Let me try to help you.
It's like all of a sudden you just have that clean slate. Like I've had it where if people leave mad and I've done everything in my power, then it doesn't like ruin my entire day, but I have to just like shake it off. I'm like, gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. Where on the other hand, if I can if I can't like solve their issue, but they're understanding that I did my best, and then we walk away, I'm just good. Like it's fine. I had this one older lady who I like refunded like hundreds of dollars worth of fees, and she was mad that I couldn't do all of them because she had loads of them.
Overdraft.
Yep. And
Here's all these fees I racked up. Can you forgive them?
well, and I explained it in more than one way, and then it came down to she's like, I just don't understand why you can't do all of them. I'm like, well, I've done the max that I can without it being credit union error. I'm like, these are courtesy rebates that I'm doing for you because we didn't do anything wrong on our end. And then at the end of it all, I'm like, what did I say? I'm like, I basically somehow got out of her that she was still upset. And I was like, well, is there anything I could have done to make this better? She's like, no, because you said you can't rebate all my fees. I'm just like, have a nice day.
You see, man, the fee happens when you take too much money out of your account that you don't have.
Right.
That's the penalty.
Well, and the hard thing,
wanted my chips.
giving her like the benefit of the doubt here.
Well, those are $34 chips.
Now.
So giving her the benefit of the doubt, and this is what's going to get hard for this generation, is she's pushing 90. And she depends on her monthly paper statements to know where her balances are at. And so I had to tell her, I'm like, unfortunately with how, and she writes checks. Drives me nuts. People who still write checks. Checks are dead, people. Don't write checks.
We don't even accept them anymore.
But she writes checks, and so therefore, obviously, she writes them, and then they clear at the time that the person cashes it. Yeah. So depending on who she's writing them to,
it
could, yeah, well, not years.
How long
like
can a check go?
60.
I think it's 90
Anywhere
days.
from 60 to
90 days.
120.
Still, that is, I would be furious if something came out of my account
Right?
90 days later.
And so she's got all this, and so I tried so hard. I'm like, you're depending on a monthly statement with how many checks you're writing. I'm like, by the time you receive your following month's statement, you're going to be way off. Like, there's so many checks clearing in 30 days that your balances that you thought you knew. And she was supposedly keeping a check register, but again, she's kind of going off of what checks she's written, not knowing if they've actually cleared or not. And so I was trying to tell her, I'm like, well, we have online and mobile banking that you can get online, check your accounts daily, hourly, whenever you want. I'm like, if you don't do, that kind of technology, you can call us. I gave her like our branch number so she doesn't have to go through the call center. I'm like, call us. We don't mind giving you your balances and telling you where you're at, what checks have cleared, that type of thing.
Well, isn't it an automated thing? Like, when you call into the bank, doesn't it just say, if you'd like to hear your balances, or press 1? Or
if you call the call center number.
Oh,
so the
gotcha.
branch number, it's going to ring right to our branch and we're going to pick up.
Going off that, I just think everyone at some point in time needs to work a customer support based position.
Yes.
Because when you work in that position, you know how to talk to people in that position, and they greatly appreciate it.
Yes, 100%.
Considering like every company you go to has somebody in that type of position.
It gives you empathy
Yeah.
throughout your life.
Like
Absolutely.
And you catch more flies with honey.
Yes.
So on that note, though, exactly what you're talking about, something that grinds my gears is older people who are unwilling to learn technology.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't. They 100% can. They just don't.
It's the old dog new trick thing.
They come in and they're like, no, I don't want to learn this. It's like, why are you here?
Especially you're
Yes, all the time. I'm like, we need a test, and if you don't pass it, you're not allowed to buy any stuff here.
well, an Apple store of all places. I don't want to learn technology. Then are you lost? Have you
saw
looked
that,
at
right?
this store?
You should just have a dummy phone that just has some basic features.
Yeah, and people come in and they act like they're at gunpoint to come into the store and like buy a new phone, and it's like, why? Like, I don't want to buy this. And it's like, why are you then? And he's like, well, I have to. No, you don't though. Like, you don't have to buy it.
Is your current phone?
Yes, I do. And I'm like, Okay. Do you want me to still sell it? I'm confused. Why
Man,
are you here?
Apple has these people roped in. They feel like they need to upgrade now.
You know what grinds my gears? Apple.
But like, I never want to be that like person.
No.
When I keep getting older, I'm gonna find all the new technology all the time. To be like, ooh, this is cool. Ooh, this is neat.
But we also grew up with it developing. Like some of these people had
but
nothing.
so did they. They didn't
That's
disappear.
Okay, valid. They went in the blip.
They were like
They didn't
in the
disappear for a minute
90s.
and then come back.
But some of them were already retired or whatever before
Even
it
more
was,
time.
it was. Yeah, but they didn't need to do it. When,
It's one of those things.
I
where
get
the
it.
Internet? Nah, that'll never take off.
hey, that was a thing, man. People
know,
believed the
yeah,
internet
I
was going
know.
to survive.
Thank
But
goodness
that's-
for Al Gore.
I mean, I was one of those people, not one of those that didn't think it was going to take off, but I didn't grow up with a computer in my house because I grew up with a single mother who we just couldn't afford it. And so at the time it was like, it's no big deal. We can get away with it. It's fine, because it didn't take off yet. But then it's like, by the time it did, I was already so behind. And then from there, technology just boomed. And it
But
was
that's
like,
just it. Is like the learning curve at the beginning was astronomical because it was so far left field for so many people.
Yeah.
But as time has progressed, it's all become way more user centered. Way
and
more
it really
user
has.
friendly.
I've learned so much over the past little bit, being able to just kind of upgrade and learn the different things here and there.
I mean, hell, you didn't have internet till a year ago.
Because you got internet about a year ago that you could finally
You have
start.
no
Hey,
idea.
also, you guys are gonna have to start paying extra for those Netflix accounts not being in the same house.
I have my own Netflix
He's
account.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, he just has everything else in mind.
But yeah, hey, Netflix is starting it. Others probably do it.
It probably
You have
won't
to
be
pay
long.
a premium if your multiple users are
you could start
different
doing
households.
a user fee.
Did you like that
true.
the
User fee.
tweets that aged terribly? And it was Netflix's if you love is sharing a password. They tweeted that like 2 years ago. It's like
Freaking
Not
buttholes.
anymore.
That's why they did it. They were preparing.
Uh-huh.
Like, ooh, extra fees.
Well,
Grinds my
I was
gears.
gonna say,
everyone wants their hands in that money, and we're all feeling it, man. That inflation is getting.
I got one more
ridiculous.
quick one.
I was gonna say, any last ones? Let's get them out.
This one's just simple, just quick fun that I have to just throw out there. One thing that grinds my gears is people who, when they make a movie out of a book and people say, oh, the book was better. It's like, well, no shit. Like, it's like you got this like 800-page novel with all kinds of detail. There's no way you're going to put it all
Right?
into a movie.
Not to mention, your mind is going to make it so fantastical,
Exactly.
and it's never going to live up to some other
So-
person's direction.
So-
It's your vision instead
Yeah.
of somebody else's.
So my thing is I'm not a big reader. I wish I was. I really do. I wish I could get into reading more, but I'm not a reader. So I just watch the movie and think like, wow, that was a fantastic movie, because I don't compare it to the book.
Yeah,
So here's my thing about that. I've listened to a lot of books and watched the movies, because typically I watch the movie first and I'm like, that was a good movie. I want to listen to the book now. So I'll give him this. What I think the biggest thing that I hate is when you have a book and it's laid out so perfectly and it's really good and you think, okay, they make a movie out of this, it's going to be good. I know they can't fit everything into it, but they'll make it good. Then you go watch the movie and it's like they followed the storyline for the first 5 pages and then they took a complete right turn and they didn't follow anything else from the book. And you're like, this wasn't in the book. That character wasn't in the book. Where did you go with this?
Are you talking about the 8th
That's-
season of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I love
I love the.
well, 8th season wasn't made yet.
But with
That's
books,
the problem.
I see with
That's why
books
it sucked.
because the descriptive artistry in the book is awesome. That somebody
Yes.
can put a picture in your head. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then let you run with
You know,
it.
this
So
is-
I agree with the book thing.
This is kind of an embarrassing example, but I don't know why I say embarrassing, but it's like, take Twilight. Okay. I remember when Twilight, the movie, came out and people were furious with who they casted as Edward. Edward doesn't look like that. And it's like, Edward is words on a page.
Yeah.
So it's like every single person is picturing Edward different.
Yeah.
So
But before I
descriptive.
forget, what grinds my gears, and I will applaud everyone here at this table, is people who can't keep their mouth shut when you tell them that you're watching a series and then spoil something even inadvertently
right.
down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone here at this table, phenomenal job. You guys never spoil anything.
That's because I don't watch shit.
I love it. Well, okay, yeah, that's your point. But these three watch a lot, and they never spoil anything for me, and I love it because I can talk to
I
them,
hate
and I know
spoilers.
that I
Yep,
won't get anything
same.
spoiled.
Well, and
But just
No,
a
you're
prime
good.
example is like, oh, have you gotten to the point where this happens? It's like, well, now I know that person's not going to die.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
I actually.
That's my problem with prequels.
Yeah.
It's like, I know how this turns out. You're in a deadly situation while you're also in the last movie, so you're not going anywhere.
right?
That's so true.
And this is why I hate social media. I've actually unfriended a few people on there because they'll blatantly get on there and be like, for instance, and I'm going to spoil this because it's been out long enough and you haven't seen it. I'm sorry. But like the Spider-Man, day afterwards, oh my gosh, all 3 Spider-Man were in the show. And it's like, thanks, jackass. Yup. And I will immediately unfollow. I'm like, nope.
I'm glad you're taking my advice because I remember I told you, like, you can still be friends. You can just unfollow
Yep,
them.
I will immediately. I'm like, no, I want nothing to do with you because there is no room for that. I mean, 2-3 weeks after it's been out, maybe something comes out. It is what it is.
it's
But,
an attention thing,
like,
right?
Yeah,
So-
it is.
It's so dumb. And see, I think the reason I'm good at it is because I accidentally figure things out all the time. And it drives me nuts because I love surprises.
You and my
Yeah.
wife both.
But like, and I told this to Kaylee the other day because she's like, I want to tell you something, but it's not a spoiler. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, I don't want to see your expression. I don't want to hear a single word because everything you say is a hint.
Right.
And my brain gets to work putting it together.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
No matter what is. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. Everything.
be the
way you
smallest
say
thing.
it, the look on your face, the words, everything is a hint to me.
Yep.
Just
Yes.
say nothing.
You go into detective mode of
Exactly.
And I don't even want to. And it'll literally,
Yeah.
she'll say something, and all of a sudden my brain's like, oh, that's like, oh, and this thing happened the other day.
Analyzing.
Oh, and this, and I saw this on the counter, and I'm like, son of a, ah.
analyzing.
A good example of that. So my mother-in-law is one of the worst spoilers ever, and she kind of sort of ruined Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt because Jenny and I were going to see it. They had already seen it, and she's like, "Just wait for the big twist." And we're like,
You're like, great.
"Okay, big twist." Going into it, and so we're watching the movie, and all of a sudden credits are rolling. I'm like, "What was the twist?" And then we ask her, we're like, what was the twist? And it's like, the twist is that he woke her up. It's like, they said that in the previews. That's not a twist. And so this whole time I'm watching the movie waiting for this twist. I'm like, I don't see a twist.
Didn't she do that with Murder on the Orient Express?
No.
Or she tried to ruin it or something like
No,
that.
she-
I've seen the original. Do you want to know who gets murdered?
No, she did it just recently with the book of Boba Fett. The episode where, and I'm sorry,
Yeah.
am I okay? Or no?
Are you watching it?
No, I'm not watching it. Go ahead. I'll forget. I'll put
Are
it
you
in my,
sure?
I'll put
Are
it in
you
my
sure?
nothing box. Go for it. Going in the nothing box.
You just said we're really good at this.
I know.
That's
No,
all
you're
I'm
good.
stopping.
I'm really good at forgetting stuff, really. Like, I can commit things to forgetting.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know.
I like that.
Okay. So she's like, the Mando episode.
Right.
She's like, oh yeah, Mando's in this episode. You'll love it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know he was coming back. Thanks for that.
I thought
And
this was
she's
the
like,
book of Boba.
and so then just kind of to be a snot about it, she's like, oh, well, you were going to find out in the first 5 seconds anyway. And it's like, oh my gosh. Just like,
Like, oh, so it's early that it happens. Okay.
come on.
From now on, I'm just going to go around and be like, wait for the twist. Just to mess with people. Be like, oh, you're going to go see, wait for the
You
twist.
remember in elementary school, we were watching
So then
the
afterward, they're just like, what was the twist?
we were watching, what was it, the Scarlet Pimpernel or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
So we were watching that, and a school day was shorter when we would watch those, and so we didn't finish it all in one day. And a kid in my class totally spoiled it. And he's like, oh man, he dies. And I'm like, what? I'm like, shut up, dude. And so I'm watching the last half. I'm like, freaking, he dies. And then he does it. And I'm like, you son of a. I'm so mad.
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, I'm happy that you were wrong, but I'm also pissed off.
Right?
That's hilarious.
One last movie one, and then we can wrap it up.
All right.
The other one I hate is like when the movie is based off of a mystery, like a problem solving thing, and people are like, "Oh, I knew it in the first 10 minutes." It's like, shut up.
Like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Me and my wife do like to play that game with like crime TV shows. So we're like watching Castle right now, and whenever there's an episode and one of the suspects is those like semi-known actors. We see them and we're like, oh, he did it. Like as soon as they have any acting skill at all, you're like, that's the guy.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to be in it for more than one episode.
Yep, he did it.
Yep.
Like this last season of Dexter, I knew right away. I was like,
Oh,
that's the guy.
Yeah, that's those
I
eyebrows.
told you
And
who
see,
it was because
I
of
hate
the
it when
voice
I
alone.
I hate it when I do it to myself. It's the thing.
You're like, dang it.
It's like I didn't want
Well,
to figure it out
easy.
yet.
You're like, okay, I know he does it, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
It's kind of like people who watch a scary movie. Well, that wasn't scary. Well, you wasted 2 hours of your life
Right?
then.
Or when you're watching a scary movie and you got people laughing about it, and it's like, did you really come to just not enjoy this movie at all? Like, why are you here?
That's how they take
Exactly.
out being scared, though. Is
Oh,
they
yeah.
cope
Your
with it.
laughter negates your flight or fight response.
Correct.
It's true.
Interesting.
Or anyone who goes to a movie and they're like, oh, that movie sucked. Why did I waste my life?
Yeah, I'm
It's like,
glad
why did you?
yeah.
You chose to waste your life.
Glad
I
you
keep it
just
to
wasted
myself.
$10 and 2 hours of your life.
Yeah.
So
It's like
$40 in
you
popcorn.
can walk
Yeah.
out and ask for your money back. Like, I'm sure
you?
they'll-
yeah, you
really
can.
do.
not that bad.
I didn't know that.
You can if it's like if you walk out before halfway through the movie, I believe you can walk out and say, "Hey, you know what? I want my money back." What they'll do is they'll just give you a.
I'm OCD and have to finish though. Like I have to see how it ends.
When I worked for Cinemark,
All right, I
we
love
did
to
it all the
finish,
time.
too.
But they'll just give you another ticket. Basically, they'll just give you like a.
Aren't you only
Credit back.
11% finished?
No,
No, it was like 1.4.
yeah. Finish.
Oh,
finish.
All right.
And with that, that's the. Cam takes a cake on it.
I
We're
feel
done.
like we could do this for 8 more hours.
yeah. We could keep
we
going.
could just keep finding things that
It's
irk
fun
us.
though because it's like lightning.
That's right.
You feel wider.
Yeah. I hope
Glad I got
that
that dark cloud out.
that we have some people listening in the car driving while they listen to the first half of this podcast.
Right?
Seeing all
and
those
start
things
seeing
happen.
all the little things happen.
And even better, if you didn't care before and now it bothers you. It
Yep.
grinds your gears.
Yep.
Or they're the people that do it and they're like, I don't do that.
And then they catch themselves doing it.
It's like,
and
or
hopefully
if you
it fixes
drive
it.
by somebody, flip them off and realize it's one of us.
I don't know why they freak out so bad about some of this stuff because they're the people doing the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole thing. It's like if you
Self-aware.
don't have a Karen in your group, you are the Karen.
Yeah.
Same
Be
thing.
self-aware. Just be self-aware.
Be self-aware. That's
and
the
remember
takeaway.
that you are not the main story in everybody's, or the main character in everybody's story.
You're the main
Yep.
character in yours, and that's it.
And other people are also main characters. So be kind.
What is it?
I like
The
it.
non-playable characters?
NPCs.
We're all
Yeah,
NPCs.
we're all NPCs.
NPCs to each other. But you still be nice to the NPCs.
It's like Free Guy,
Yeah. Be nice to the NPCs.
Dude, talk about
or
a
we will
metaphor
mess
for
you
life. Jeez.
right?
One last thing. You know what else grinds my gears? This is good. This is good. This is good. People who watch a full YouTube video and don't hit like or subscribe
Right?
or share.
There you go.
Or, and if you're still here, you're not one of these people who go halfway through, complain about it, not realizing that the rest of it explains everything they're complaining about.
Yep,
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
So hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and please share with your friends. Let them know who we are. Let them know that you love us and that they will love us too eventually.
We got
Hey,
a little bit
and
of
you know what
something
else
for
grinds my
everybody.
gears? People that can't respect other people's opinions.
Yeah. Be yourself,
Yes.
share your opinions,
Yes.
respect them, and have a good conversation.
Yes.
Stopping people from speaking doesn't help anybody learn anything.
Right.
Bingo.
I like it. Thanks
Awesome.
for being a part of this crowd tonight. We love you guys. Have a
Auf
good night.
Wiedersehen.
And we'll see you next
Bye.
time.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
How do you say it in Dutch, Zach?
I don't know how to say bye in Dutch.
He's not Dutch.
He's not a lick of Dutch.
He knows how to say bye in English.
Why do you
that's
think
what
I?
he is?
Why do you think I say ciao all the time?
'Cause
That's
you're
Italian.
Exactly. See?
I'm Italian. Arrivederci. You should have been the one that said it. Arrivederci.
Said it like
Like Brad Pitt in Inglourious Basterds.